Hello and welcome back to Tech. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a rotating RGB LED lamp that uses a DC gear motor and a speed motor control circuit that uses a TIP122 Darlington transistor and uses auto-changing RGB LEDs. Let's get started. And these are the items you're going to need to make for this project. The items you're going to need: a 9-volt battery clip, 10k ohm potentiometer, a TIP122 Darlington transistor, a slide switch, a 1N4007 rectifier diode, a Perfboard, a DC gear motor, and some cardboard. Now let's go ahead and assemble this project and let's get started. I have right here the schematic that you can use to follow to make this project. First, I'm going to start with taking the Perfboard and placing this 10k ohm potentiometer, placing it right here in the front, pushing it in, bend over the lead so it doesn't fall out, solder it into place, next I'm going to take the 1N4007 rectifier diode, place it into the Perfboard just like this, bend over the leads, and bend the cathode lead over to the potentiometer. And solder bridge the cathode over to the potentiometer, and then solder it into place. And then solder in the anode into place. Cut off the excess. Next, I'm going to take the 9-volt battery clip, and I want to connect the negative wire over to the cathode of the diode. Place it right here, clamp it down, bend over the lead over to the cathode, solder it into place, and then solder bridge it over to the cathode of the diode. Next, I'm going to take the TIP122 transistor, place it into the Perfboard, and now bend over the base of the transistor over to the center pin of the potentiometer. Solder it into place, and I'll solder bridge it to the center pin of the potentiometer. Solder in the rest of the pins in place. Next, I'm going to bend over the collector of the transistor over to the final pin of the potentiometer. Solder bridge it to the final pin of the potentiometer, and there. The collector is now connected. Next, I'm going to take the positive wire of the 9-volt battery clip and connect it to the collector of the transistor. Place it right here. Clamp it down. Bend over the lead. Solder it into place. And I'll solder bridge it over to the collector of the transistor. Next, I'm going to take this slide switch. I want to place it right here onto the Perfboard. Solder tin these leads. And I'll solder the slide switch into place. Next, I'm going to take the positive wire of the 9-volt battery clip and I want to connect it to the slide switch. Cut the wire right here. Remove the insulation by pulling the whole thing off, which is fine. Twist the wire. Bring it over to the center pin of the slide switch. Cut off some excess. And there we go. Solder it to the slide switch. Make sure it goes in. There we go, perfect. Now take the second wire and connect it to the slide switch. And there, the 9-volt battery's positive is connected to the slide switch. Next, I'm going to take the DC gear motor, cut off the wires, remove the insulation, and now take one of the wires and place it next to the anode of the rectifier diode. Place it in, bend over the lead, solder it into place, and then solder bridge it to the anode of the diode. Cut off the excess. Next, take the second wire from the DC gear motor and place it next to the emitter of the transistor. Put it in place, clamp it down, bend over the lead, and now bend over the emitter lead of the transistor. Press it down, solder bridge it together, and there the emitter of the transistor is connected to the DC gear motor. Go ahead, reconnect it, and let's go ahead and test it out. Turn on the switch, turn the potentiometer, and you will see that will turn. Perfect. As you can see, it works. And now it's time to take some cardboard and build the housing for this project. Put some hot glue on the side of the DC gear motor. Take a piece of cardboard, place it on. Repeat the same process on the opposite side. Next, I'm going to take the circuit and I want to glue it to the cardboard. Placing it right here looks good. Put some hot glue onto the cardboard. And now take the circuit and glue it into place. Take the 9-volt battery, plug it in, and I can tuck it underneath. And there, the speed motor control circuit is now complete. Now let's go work on the second circuit. And these are the items you're going to need to make for this circuit. The items you're going to need: a 3-volt button cell battery holder, a 3-volt button cell battery, a slide switch, and 5 auto-changing RGB LEDs. And you're also going to need this cardboard tube. And you're also going to need these 2 pieces of cardboard. Next, take a measurement of the desired size of the tube, cut it out, and it should look just like this. Next, take the tube and place it on top of the cardboard. And now just simply trace around it. Do that 2 more times. And there, I have 3 circles. Next, what I need to do is cut out the 3 circles. And it should look just like this. Next, find the center of the circle. Make an X. And there, X marks the spot. And I'll cut out a rectangular hole in the center of the circle, which is the same size as the DC gear motor shaft. Place it onto the DC gear motor, all the way through, and doing this will allow the platform to be very stable. Next, take some hot glue and place a generous amount of hot glue onto this platform. And now take a second circle and place it directly on top. Doing this will hide the shaft of the DC gear motor. And there, this is how you make a rotating table. Next, make some patterns onto this cardboard tube. Doing this will make reference points of where I'm going to cut out these patterns. And this will be where the light is going to shine through. make a bunch of lines and dots. Next, take a X-Acto knife and cut out these lines. And then take a screwdriver and make these holes. And it should look just like this when complete. Doing this will allow the LED light to shine through. Next, I'm going to take the 3-volt button cell battery holder. This side's positive, this side's negative. And I'm going to take the slide switch and take the center pin of the slide switch and place it onto the positive terminal. Solder tin the negative, and I'll solder tin the slide switch and solder the slide switch to the positive terminal. And there, should look just like this. Next, I'm going to take these 2 wires. The blue wire represents negative, and the green wire represents positive, and now solder it to the positive terminal of the slide switch. Next, take this circle, which will be the housing for the auto-changing RGB LEDs. Next, take the 3-volt button cell battery with the wires and hot glue it into the center. Put a generous amount of hot glue in the center, put the 3-volt button cell battery and wiggle it around so that way the glue can go all over the 3-volt button cell battery holder. Next, I'm going to take the auto-changing RGB LEDs and place it all the way around inside the circle. Take a permanent marker and place little marks of where I want to place the LEDs. There we go. Next, I want to take the auto-changing RGB LEDs and these wires, and I want to wire all the LEDs together and create a parallel circuit. I want to connect all the cathodes to cathodes and the anodes to anodes. Solder the first cathode over to the negative terminal, and I'll take another negative wire and solder to that cathode, and then solder the cathode of that LED to that cathode. Glue it into place. And I'll wire everything together. And there, the parallel circuit is now complete. All of the LEDs are now connected. Next, take the 3-volt button cell battery, place it into the 3-volt button cell battery holder, turn on the switch, and there, as you can see, it works. Next, take the cardboard cylinder, and what I want to do is put glue around the perimeter and glue the cardboard cylinder in place. Take some hot glue and put it all the way around the perimeter. And now take the cardboard cylinder and put it in place. And there, now it's glued into place. Press it down and wait for the glue to solidify. Next, I'm going to take the auto-changing RGB LED circuit and place it on top. And there, the project is now complete. Tuck the wires in a little bit so that way it looks a little bit nicer. Turn on the switch, place it on top, and there, the project is now complete. Now let's see how this looks in the dark. Start it rotating, turn on the RGB LEDs, place it on top, and there, as you can see, this looks very nice. And as you can see, the LED lights are shining everywhere like it's a disco ball. Now let's see how this looks in the complete darkness. As you can see, this looks very festive. It actually looks like a little disco ball, or a little party light. And how very nice and very fun. And there you have it. Now you know how to make your very own rotating RGB LED lamp with using auto-changing RGB LEDs and a speed motor controlling circuit. Thank you for watching SciTech. I hope you learned something new, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course click the bell icon to be notified for future SciTech videos. Till the next tech, goodbye.